I'm John Conejero. I'm honored to have back again Michael Sakwich, our senior acupuncturist, dry needler. And I will just tell you, he has a lot of powerful story because he's working this over how many years?
16 years now.
16 years, since he was 10 years old, right? And we are pleased to have here the 16 years. He's been working 6 years with us in Art of Healing. He's been very successful. He actually is very interesting. He looks like he's a serious guy, but he is funny. He has a rock band and he plays drums, and he is a very interesting character in a good way. I love this man. We're going to talk today something very interesting. We're going to talk about ADD, ADHD, this attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, attention deficit disorder, and it's being affect over 11% in North America. It's millions and millions of kids is being affected for this disease. People is going through this. You're taking a lot of pharmaceutical medications. It's being affected more and more. And we will talk about how we can help in different alternative way. Because acupuncture can help to create dopamine, endorphins. I'm so sorry, that's correct. Not create a dopamine, but stimulate dopamine, and helps to create a serotonin and acetylcholine. However, the side effect of medication is much greater than any benefits, and a lot of times. And I'm against it. I think a lot of kids need it. At the same time, if we can go work together, hand to hand, will be much more helpful. And people know the side effect could be like methamphetamine. It can give anxiety, can give depression, can give obsessive compulsive, sleeping problems, and a lot of other things change their attitude. That's why we go talk about acupuncture, how we can focus and need to be more concentrating ways that you can balance your energy. And maybe you can have some herbs you can discuss about it. Hey, Michael, can you tell a little bit how the acupuncture could help with this ADD, ADHD?
So I would say that the most simple way to put it is acupuncture engages your nervous system. It relaxes your central nervous system. And when people have ADD or ADHD, it's just this hyperness. It's everything. It's just this overstimulation. And why? It's the society we live in. This is probably the cause of it. It's the bad food we're eating, and that things that we think is good for kids that it's not really, or maybe convenient for the parents. Giving your child a computer to be their babysitter is not the best way to engage them. That really messes up their brain. That messes up them in a lot of their neurological structure, it gets confused, But now they're looking at this screen that sends them all types of signals instead of like hanging out in the park or hanging out, sitting on the grass and, just enjoying the nature around them. That's a very different stimuli. Or having somebody go, okay, John, that's not how we do things, and actually talking to people instead of having, like giving them a tablet, So that creates, a lot of weird connections that we're not used to, like from a biological way, like humans are not used to all this technology bombardment. And so that's kind of screwing up our nervous systems, I think,
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And so what acupuncture does is sort of helps to regulate the nervous system, and really it can work so quickly. It can be really, really profound for a lot of kids, and some are more work than others. I've had a fair amount of young people over the years, And some, some older, and some like 30-year-old housewives and things like that have, similar like ADD kind of type problems. And acupuncture is really good for it. It just really helps just settle the nervous system so you can focus.
That's a fascinating what you said about the acupuncture itself, where the people just come and sit and scream the whole time. Today, the babies, the stroller, they have things hanging upside down that the baby can watch from the iPhone, right? And it's fascinating because the baby already born is already watching, has all this information. Today, they did research, actually, Caesar, the guy, a long time ago, he's very intelligent architecturally and all this stuff. He was one of the brilliant guys ever exist in this earth, but today, the kids 10 years old have 20 more information than him.
Mm-hmm.
That means it's too much overstimulating. And that's something you were given the tip to say, hey, how we can fix it. The acupuncture really helps, but you need to do your parts too, right? That's how about you spend more time in nature?
Mm-hmm.
How about you engage, right?
Engage.
And talk to them. Mm-hmm. And this is a very important thing for you to understand that I think the kids, they need those treatments too, but I think the parents too, they need to have understanding together and balance together, right?
Yeah.
I think both of you have treatment.
Oh, for sure. Everybody.
Because if we overwhelm, we have a lot of, today the society have this biggest problem they call anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most highest depression anxiety ever exists. Well, that's what I think is you come hand in this thing. If you do with acupuncture, they really will help you to balance that part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell me some story that you really help with the ADD or ADHD?
Of course. But before I do that, I do kind of want to talk a little bit more about how acupuncture can help and like herbal stuff, because, we're just talking on a very topical way, how acupuncture just settles the nervous system, and it works great for that.
Right.
When you go and look deeper into, because we look at the organs inside the body and, what their interplay is and the dysfunction of what could be happening. There's a few different reasons from a Chinese medical standpoint of how, there could be an organ imbalance that is creating this as well.
Right.
So it's not just that simple as saying it's just a computer.
Right.
It's not just that simple. But when we look at the body from our perspective, and listen to the patient, like what they're going from, where they're coming from, we can figure out what organ interplay is happening that is creating, these cycles, and then we can help to stop that and to stop it for the long term instead of just saying, because, if we just do acupuncture just purely to settle down the nervous system, we're not really getting to the root of the problem, right? And so you might need to do acupuncture once a week forever, if you're only doing that. But if you look more deeply at the root of the problem, then you can actually treat that root to create more balance in that individual over a period of time, so they don't need to come for treatment constantly. And that's the bigger picture of how to treat these patients. And, the supplements, these herbal medicines, and all these things kind of go into the treatment.
That's a very fascinating part you're talking about is you do it's the same thing like you brush your teeth, right? You can, if you go to dentist every 6 months, you don't brush your teeth will fall off, right? And if I do all deep cleaning once every 6 months, but if you don't do daily things, doesn't matter why, right? And that's the same thing about your life with the acupuncture and things like that. You just not come and get tuned up. It'd just be great if you're great after a session, but if you don't tune up yourself inside, and I think that's the biggest thing is when you got lay down there and balance your channel is just let it go of things. And we're there like, wow, I feel so much better because you let it go. And that's the thing that the biggest things is that the society today is to feel the kidneys is the fear area, right? And the lungs connected too. And then people have all the fear to work. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. This pandemic and all this stuff. And I think this is you talk about that. Always talk about qigong and the balance with your daily things. And can you explain a little bit what you can do for you to balance a little bit better by your daily things? What do you do, like the example?
Yeah.
To let go of things that you, because you treat people every day, you see this energy, and how you just like, you know what, after I finish my work or before I come to work, what do you do like to really to prepare yourself in your spirit?
Yeah. So I always, I try to start every day, especially my work days, with some qigong, and that is. I have like a 10-minute set that I do, and if I wake up early and I'm feeling good and I don't feel like working out or something like that, I feel like doing something more relaxing, then I'll do a longer session. There's like a qigong that I do that's like you could do 30 minutes, you could do up to an hour, of time. But anyway, just doing the 10 minutes, right? That is enough for me to feel like focused, balanced, and grounded, where my nervous system feels like it's calmed down so I can talk to people and engage with people and not be thinking about, what's going on in my own life, so I can just really be present with people and do that, I'm always thinking about breathing, trying to be conscious breathing. And it's not sitting there like I'm sitting there all day, like focusing on my breath all day long.
Right.
But, we all have a tendency, especially if something's stressful, to breathe really shallowly. And so having that idea of like, okay, I'm working and I'm talking to this person and they're really stressed out and I can feel that and I'm not going to let it affect me. So I'm just going to breathe and I'm going to focus on my breath. I'm still going to listen to them and be present, but I'm going to make sure that I'm focused on my stuff and my, what I need to do to get through this stressful moment, because it helps me stay more grounded while this person's having, whatever they're going through. Because we see here a lot of people that are very distressed when they come in here, very distressed, be it their pain or emotionally, or, they could have some major physiological problem that they come, here with. And so people can be really, really distressed and, they need to dump it out somewhere. So they tend to dump it out here. Mm-hmm. And then, and people need outlet.
Yes. I think this is definitely makes sense. We just link in, we talk about attention deficit and we talk about ADHD as well. That's exactly the word you use it to focus. And how the people can focus if you cannot focus. I think that's exactly what you talk about. In 10 minutes, you start yourself well. You do, if you want to do meditation, if you want to do yoga, or if you want to do something else, qigong, or you want to pray, or you want to walk in nature. But something that you start right yourself, right? And I think that's something you can start not only for yourself, is start practicing your kids, right?
Absolutely.
And I think this is the things that come up. Then you come with the tools with the acupuncture and help to balance your energy, your meridian, and then you'll get better understanding about more and more about you. Just tell me a little bit of the story that you were being successful.
So, recently, we've had this young man. He's a grandson of one of our regulars, and she thought he was really struggling. He's taken a lot of medication. Medication's not helping him. And he's kind of been back and forth here. He started here about a year or so ago, and there's some weird family stuff. So they were like, well, there's some disagreements about whether he should be getting acupuncture. Let's just try the medications, all this stuff. And then finally, they got tired because the medication's not working. He's failing all these classes. They're going to hold him back. He's 16 years old. They're going to hold him back a year unless he gets better grades. Mm-hmm. And so they decided to actually, his doctors, and parents decided to just pull him off all the medication. And now he's coming to see me. And we're having some really good success with him. After just a few visits, his grandmother wrote us an email just saying that he's a different child after visiting his last visit, his third visit, and as a weekly visit, he was happy, seemed to feel 100% and delighted to be feeling so good.
Awesome.
Really simple, but hopefully now he can, he can go to school and take his tests and start passing courses because he's a smart guy, he just gets all this weird test anxiety and he can't, and the anxiety comes in so strongly that he can't focus, and then it sort of creates all like back in that fear, like, well, what if is it this or that? And he confuses himself. And so he cannot be really sure in himself that he has the right answer ever. So that's why he keeps failing all these. But now he has a confidence where he can get through the test.
Wow, that's a great story.
So, I've had some, he's a teenager. I've had even younger kids. I had as young as 8 years old, get acupuncture, and some at that age, some of these kids are like, whoa, really freaked out about the needles because it's needles.
Right, absolutely.
and then I have some of these kids that are just like, just really delighted. Do they just get it? They're like a little nervous at first, but then once they find out that the needles don't actually hurt, and then it helps them relax and it helps them, just feel better, then they're all about it. So,
right.
And then there's supplements and there's herbal medicine that can also be helpful.
That's me. You give us as well the supplements, and you give some advice. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I think this is a great story. And all the things to just back a little bit, the conversation we have, even as parents to stop completing medication, first you need to check with your physician.
Definitely talk to your doctors, make sure it's all,
yes.
It's not like something that, I'm not going to say you should take your child off this medication. I mean, that's never
just always consult with a physician. That way we work together. We don't work against it.
Exactly.
We work as a team together.
Complementary medicine.
Exactly. And one of the things that's amazed about the results you're having is it is not immediate things sometimes can be, and sometimes can be, but just you need to have a little patience with people,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah, because if your child is suffering for a while, it's a lot of people, the parents feel guilty. Maybe I'm not being right and this and that, but it's not about guiltness. It's not about if you right or wrong, but you come over here, we don't judge you who you are. And if that's your concern, it's like, oh, what do you go judge? We're doing wrong things. No, we are here, accept who you are. And I think you can bring your child or bring yourself. And I think this is a great story about this child is suffering for so long, for the anxiety about testing. And so many kids suffer that. And I think have some ways we can help. And I believe Michael has a great experience and has many, many more stories. And I want you to bring yourself and your kids to bring more stories and successful stories. And I always tell people, this is this truth. It's like, how many treatments you need? Let's try for 3 treatments. If you see the same engagement, right, the first 3, if you see some improvement, say, why not we continue, then we have some plan. Mm-hmm. If not, maybe we can really
talk about different things.
And
I think the thing with acupuncture is that, with people that are unfamiliar with it, is that, let's say somebody's had a problem for 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, and they come for our help and they don't get results after 2 visits. It's like, well, how we're trying to undo 10 years of of wrong in 2 hours of our time. It's like, it's impossible. You have to do the math. And so it does take some patience. It does take, you kind of have to work with us a little bit. And I generally say that, if we're 4 or 6 visits into, and you're coming weekly, or sometimes we want to see people more, and we're not getting our results, then we're not doing the right thing, or maybe we're not the right answer.
Exactly.
But we're not always the right answer. But if you don't give us that amount of time, we will never know if it's going to work or not.
I think this is a great thing about, we are very honest in the front. One of the things that Michael is, he would give to you what is needed for, because sometimes we don't want here to hold you just because this is the thing we do, is we actually want to see improvement. That's the biggest thing for us in Art of Feeling, is to really feel the person is improved. That's our goal more than anything. And my goal is this: he works so hard to get to this aim and to achieve this goal. And I will totally trust Michael in this kind of in a situation like that, and comfortable. I think he was open to talk with anything about it. And one thing is good: he's full vaccinated, right? And our staff, most is all full vaccinated, and we are very careful over here. And I believe that we try our best. And thank you, Michael, for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks.
And I think it was a good ways to people engage and understand a little bit more. If you have any question, please give us a call, or just question on YouTube or Instagram, or just call us 443-551662, and we're looking forward to see you again. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.